Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Todd Klindt's SharePoint Netcast number lucky 220, 220, 221, whatever it takes. Recorded live on Monday, October 27th, 2014. I am your host and current quarantine subject, Todd Klindt. And before we get on to the big, exciting Netcast tonight, I have to give my friends at Rackspace a shout out. Not only did they, help me with that PowerPoint presentation running the background there, they helped me get all this rig set up, and they gave me that flag. But I got a new one. I got a new flag today, so I have to thank the folks at Rackspace for that. Let me get the new flag out here. Now, before I do, as you all know, I started working for Rackspace 2.5 years ago, February 15th, 2012, so it's been 2.5 years. But before that, I worked for SharePoint 911 for 2.5 years. So if you add those two together, that puts my start date at SharePoint 911 October 18th of 2009. And Rackspace, being the stand-up folks that they are, the real salt of the earth people, they count my start date at SharePoint 911 as my start date. So that means last week was my 5-year anniversary. And Rackspace, they do love their flags, like my principal architect flag back there. So this week I got my 5-year flag. I should have practiced this part better. So anyway, thanks to Rackspace for that flag. I have no idea where I'm going to hang that. I kind of like my other flag. I like my Australian flag, but I'll find some place for it. But thanks for that. And to help them pay for all of these crazy flags that they keep sending me, go on out to www.rackspace.com and check out rackspace.com/Microsoft, where you can find out all about our Hyper-V and System Center product. Kind of a new thing we got going on there at the Rack. And we would love for you to see what we got going on there. And it's like all of our other hosting products. You know, we've got some VMware stuff, we've got some Zen server stuff, and now we've got some Hyper-V stuff. So no matter what platform you want your thing on, we can do it for you. And we got experts and all that kind of crazy stuff. That's at rackspace.com/Microsoft. And of course, if you're here for the SharePoint, come for the Hyper-V, stay for the SharePoint. You can go to sharepoint.rackspace.com and find out all about that stuff that we've got going on there too. But again, thanks to the folks at Rackspace. The other thing that they did, which is funny, and I'm gonna make fun of Rackspace for a little bit. It's all done out of love, though, I promise. It also came with this picture. And this is it's kind of a stock picture that they use. They got those white things, so they can put whatever in there. So if you're at our briefing room or something, they'll put a flag, put one of these pictures up that has your company name in it. The thing that is funny about this is Lanham Napier. He is the former CEO. This is Lou Mormon. He is the former president. And this is Sugar Bear. He's just Sugar Bear. Long story with Sugar Bear. But we had some, these guys both stepped down, and we got a new guy who's in charge now, Taylor Rhodes, and they have not updated this card yet. So I got a thank you from the guys that don't work here anymore on my 5 years. I appreciate that. That was nice of them. They didn't need to do that, and I rip on Rackspace, but I love them, and I do appreciate that. It is cool. I do appreciate that. So let's go on to the production notes. And I used to have the remote, so I didn't have to look at that screen. Doggone it. Production notes. Not a lot going on for production notes. I've been doing this Hangout thing for a few weeks now. I think 3 or 4 weeks, and it's been going pretty well. Got no complaints. It's been going well. I've heard how evil the folks at Google are. I can only imagine what crazy diabolical things they're doing in the background of my video, making me look fat, making it look like my hairline's receding, and all that kind of stuff. Because really, in real life, I look like I'm about 20, 21. But overall, it's been pretty good. The editing process is pretty easy now. It's easier than it was before, and I haven't had any hiccups with recordings yet or anything like that. And it's easy for you guys. You guys can stream this thing on YouTube, so it's easy to get to wherever you're at. So I think it's been a good thing. So speaking of the YouTube, if you want, you can go to youtube.com/Todd Klindt Netcast, and that's where, of course, where all my netcasts are at. But if you subscribe to that, and you've got some options when you subscribe, one of the things you can do is get an email when I upload a new video. This live stream counts as a new video, so if you sign up for that, then you'll get an email when I go live. So that's easier. That will remind you that I'm online. So that's pretty cool that the YouTube stuff is there, and it's just crazy looking at how this technology has changed in the 5 years since I started doing this thing. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, Jonathan Mass, today. I've been trying to get him to do a podcast for 3 years, probably, something like that. And I think he said he finally might do it. And I told him, like, you got to do the Google Hangouts thing. It's just easy. It just works. And so hopefully we'll be getting something from him pretty soon. And if he does, I'll give him a shout out. We'll see what he has to say. He's a developer, so you can't really trust him too much. But that'll be interesting. But this Google Hangouts thing, streaming it live on YouTube makes it work pretty well. So that's it for the production notes. But of course, as always, you can hit me up at Todd Klindt on Twitter or todd.klindt@rackspace.com and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the Google Hangouts. If you miss Ustream and the advertisements and all that kind of stuff, let me know, because I'm constantly trying to improve this thing. This year I've changed to Google Hangouts. Thanks to Mario's help, I got the audio improved. Thanks to Jack's help, and Jack's left the chat room now. I don't know if he's still online, but I got the lights here that definitely help. As we've been looking back at some of the old netcasts, the lights make a tremendous difference. So I'm always open to suggestions for how to make this thing better. It can only go up, so don't be shy. Let me know if you've got any suggestions. Okay, topics for this evening. This evening's netcast is going to be delightfully devoid of SharePoint content, I think. There's just a bunch of other stuff going on, and so we'll see. The big news today, and I couldn't not talk about it, is this the race to the bottom on cloud storage. I think Microsoft won. I think they got to the bottom first. So today, the OneDrive blog announced that Office 365 users will get unlimited OneDrive storage. Now, on the surface, this sounds pretty cool, and it is pretty cool, but it's also very confusing. When you think of Office 365, you think of Exchange Online, and Link Online, and SharePoint Online. And when you think of SharePoint Online, you think of OneDrive for Business. And OneDrive for Business, of course, is your SharePoint My Documents, shared documents library, and it's the same way on-prem, OneDrive for Business. And when you think of SharePoint Online, that's what you think of. But this is OneDrive not for business. So if you sign up for Office 365 that comes with OneDrive for Business, and you get a terabyte there, which might as well be unlimited. So you get a terabyte of OneDrive for Business, and you get unlimited the other OneDrive. So I had to read that article like 3 times this morning. Now, granted, I hadn't gotten through my first cup of coffee yet. That definitely helps my comprehension. But I kept thinking that they had moved the OneDrive for Business from 1 terabyte to a bazillion terabytes. No, you still get the 1 terabyte of OneDrive for Business, but in addition to that, you get infinite, unlimited OneDrive, the consumer version. Now, Microsoft has the Office Roadmap site where you can kind of see what they're planning, and they have on the roadmap unlimited OneDrive for Business. Good Lord, who knows what that would even be for, but that's coming, they said, next year, beginning part of next year. So then when you have an Office 365 account, which is like $8 a month, you'll get unlimited OneDrive for Business, unlimited OneDrive not for business, and unlimited car washes at your local convenience store, I think, is the next thing they're going to put after that. So that's all been pretty cool. Now, and also another thing is OneDrive, not for business, recently this year got rid of their 2 gig file size limit, so that is insane that that is gone. So now you have OneDrive consumer, no file size limit, and unlimited storage if you have an Office 365 account, and it's home and student and university and business and what, I don't know what all the flavors are. I think it's everything in there. But that's crazy. So I was talking about at the beginning of this section about the race to the bottom for cloud drive storage. I think $8 a month for unlimited storage is pretty close to the bottom, because again, you can get Office 365 for as low as $8 a month, $9 a month, something like that. So that's insane. Now the big problem is going to be now, you know, so obviously I have lots of files that I would like to keep safe somewhere. OneDrive sounds like as great a place as ever because it's unlimited, but now I got to start worrying about my cable modem caps, because I think my cable modem each month is capped to like 1 terabyte or something like that. So now I can't just, you know, dump 4 terabytes into OneDrive and have it get uploaded, because I'm gonna run out of cable modem capacity sometime. So in the chat room, they're kind of talking about this. So yes, and again, I hate to say this over and over again, but it's very complicated. The unlimited is OneDrive, and the greater than 2 gig file size is OneDrive. OneDrive for Business, both on-prem and online, have a 2 gig file size limit, though Microsoft, again, on that Office Roadmaps website, have said that they're going to get rid of the 2 gig file size limit for OneDrive for Business. And I assume at some point that will trickle down to on-prem, because it's the same, roughly the same thing. So that will happen. But that's OneDrive for Business. Again, great times. If you already use OneDrive, I use the crud out of OneDrive. Now not ever have to worry about space is kind of cool if you got Office 365. And they're kind of rolling that out. So let me get you this link too. They're rolling out that OneDrive unlimited bit, but you can go to preview.onedrive.com and sign up for, you know, kind of get yourself at the beginning of the line for that. So you sign up for preview.onedrive.com. You sign in with your Office 365 account, and then they'll put you on the list so that when they start rolling that out, you get to the beginning. So very cool stuff from Microsoft there. I would love to be a hard drive manufacturer these days. That's all I got to say about that. So Microsoft giveth, and Microsoft taketh away. And the first thing that we're going to talk about them taking away is the free music streaming with Xbox Music. So if you've got a Windows 8, 8.1, or Windows 10 device, if you go into Xbox Music, that's the app where you listen to music and, you know, work with your catalog and all that kind of stuff, they're streaming in there. For free, they're streaming in there. Now, I had never gotten into the whole streaming thing, the Pandora or the Spotify or any of that kind of stuff. Just kind of, the way that I listen to music is just not what I do. So I'd never bought or paid for any of that. And then I got Windows 8 last summer when I got my Surface RT, my Surface Pro, saw it in there. Was a little afraid to click the streaming because I was afraid I was going to get charged for something, but no, turns out the streaming was free. Loved it. And then for some extra functionality, I ended up buying an Xbox Music Pass, and that cost me $100, I think, a year or something like that. I don't remember. But that was so that I could sync content to my phone, I think is why I needed that. Well, Microsoft has announced that the free Xbox Music streaming on Windows 8.1 will be discontinued in December. You'll still be able to listen to all your own music for free and have your own artists and all that kind of stuff in there for free. But now when you bring up your favorite artist, you know, Nickelback or whoever, you'll see the Nickelback albums that you've bought. They will show up in there into your collection. But if you're not paying for the Xbox Music, you won't be able to stream their other stuff. And really shame on you for not buying all of their stuff. You ought to feel terrible about that. But that won't be free streaming anymore. And as far as I can tell, you will still need to subscribe to be able to sync to your phone. So the way that worked is if I if I create playlists on any Windows 8 device, they sync to all my Windows 8 devices. If I have a local copy of any music on any Windows 8 device, it is available on all of them. It does the whole cloud matching thing, but that wasn't available on my Windows 8 phone. But that with the Xbox Music Pass, that was added. So I think you'll probably still need the subscription to that. Now, if you don't want to pay for Xbox Music after December, you can buy a month with 940 Bing points. So if you do a lot of searching at Bing, you sign in, you sign up for that rewards thing, you collect points. 940 points is all it takes for 1 month of Xbox Music streaming. But I would recommend that right now you go out and try the streaming now, see what you like, and then you'll know if you want to sign up for it, after December. But I really like it. And it was funny tonight. I knew you could buy Xbox Music a month of it with your Bing points, so I went out to my Bing account and scrolled through so I could find it to see how many it was, and I scrolled past the ability to buy 100 gig of OneDrive storage with Bing points. I bet those guys feel like chumps now, because now it's unlimited for $8 a month. It's pretty crazy, but you got that there. So I think the streaming music, I've come to enjoy it. I've come to appreciate it. I kind of understand why everybody's so excited about it. It gives me a chance to try different things. When new albums come out, I get a chance to listen to them. Now, I still buy everything. I still don't completely trust this whole streaming and in the cloud thing. So I really just use the streaming as a taste test. But it's been pretty good. So I recommend, while you've still got it for a couple of months, try it for free, and then you'll know if you want to carry on. So one of the devices, so I've talked about how you can do this with any Windows 8 device, and I've got a bunch of them. I've got my Dell Venue 8 Pro, which is this adorable little devil here. He's kind of my go-to device. Here, 8 inches of Windows 8.1 Fury right here, and it's treated me great. I've had this thing for several months, and I love it, and it'll always hold a special place in my heart. And then I've got my Surface Pro 2, the recently discontinued Surface Pro 2, that is my daily driver that I use, to do everything, my work and all that kind of stuff. And this last week, I added a little guy to the fold. I added a Toshiba Encore Mini. And that is this guy right here. This is a 7-inch tablet. It's running Windows 8.1, and as you can tell, it streams YouTube just great. It's got the old Netcast going on it right now. And the thing that makes this remarkable is not how handsome I look on the screen, though it does do a tremendous job of bringing out my natural beauty. But this tablet running Windows 8.1, and all the things that come with that, and it's running Windows 8.1 Pro, so I can go out to the desktop, and I've got all that stuff here. This device was $100. It was $99 at the Microsoft Store. Full Windows device. Now, whether or not you know what you would do with it, it doesn't matter. It's $100. It's just crazy cool. And so this device, 7 inches. It's got 1 gig of RAM. And it's got an Atom processor. It's got 16 gig of storage, and they have managed to squeeze Windows into less than 16 gig of storage. So I've got it up right now. Just kind of the way things are partitioned, it's got 3 gig free of 10, but I can release another 4. And that, so I'm not going to be doing anything crazy on this, so I think that will be enough space. But you're probably still thinking, for $100, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I mean, it's really super fun, and I can do the Xbox Music thing, and everything's gonna sync over. I can just bring the Xbox Music up right now if I can find the link to it. But what makes this really cool is that when you buy this, they give you a year of Office 365. So when you get this, not only do you get this for $100, but you get Office 365, which I didn't pay good attention, and put it in here. So you get a year of Office 365 Personal with this, which costs $100 on its own. So really, if you were going to buy Office 365 and pay the $100, you can buy this, the Toshiba Encore Mini, and you can and get this for free. And if you've got Office 365 right here, what does that get you? It gets you unlimited OneDrive. So it's all very cool. And so here's the Xbox Music app in here, and it's just fun. I've been having a lot of fun with this device. In the chat room, Mark Chrisman is asking, will it take an SD card? It will take a micro SD card, and that goes in right there. And by right there, I mean right there. It charges with regular micro USB, so any micro USB device that you've got will charge it. And it's got a camera. I mean, it's just not a very good camera, mind you, but it's got a camera, and it's just a lot of fun. Now, one of the things that they have done to save money is it comes with a USB cable. It doesn't come with a USB wall wart, which is fine because I mean I got a million of those things laying around. But that's just one of the ways they save money, and honestly, that's fine because I got those. I'm tripping over those things, so that doesn't bother me at all. That's not in there. It does have the USB on the go, USB OTG connector on it, but that's the same as any other device. So it's the same as my Dell Venue Pro. It's the same as my Android tablets, all that kind of stuff. So that all works. It's just a lot of fun. And again, it's just a good, I don't know, it's so cute and so tiny. I just want to hug it. But one of the things that they did on it, and as a nerd, this is kind of one of the reasons I got it, was they used this thing called Wim Boot, W-I-M, Windows Image Boot. And that allows Windows, so something new with Windows 8.1, that allows Windows to boot from a compressed Wim file. And that's kind of how they got this thing to fit into 16 gig. Was this Wim Boot thing. So very cool, having a lot of fun with that device. It's so you can get it for $99 at the Microsoft store, the online store, and it's part of their Signature series, so it doesn't have any crapware on it, doesn't have any bloat, which I honestly think is because there's just no room for it. They couldn't put any bloat on there if they tried. But one of the things that I did was I did my very first unboxing video. So I made a video of unboxing it, kind of walking through setting it up. So the video itself is 20-some minutes, but it's unboxing it, kind of talking about it, and then just setting it up, syncing it up to all of my other Windows 8 devices so that all my programs in that show up. The camera work on that's a little shaky. I apologize in advance for that. I've created another video that I just haven't released yet, and that is how to make a recovery drive, and more importantly, how to actually use the recovery drive. So if you want to get that 4 gig of space back, again, because I'm down to 3 gig free, I haven't got an SD card in it yet, but I haven't also put Office on it yet. So remember that, I get Office, with Office 365, I get the Office, the full clients. That's going to take some space. Now, those Office clients right now are not optimized for touch. That is a thing called Gemini that's going to be coming out whenever. It's the full desktop version, but that's going to take some space. So if I want to free up that recovery partition at the end, that 4 gig, I need to make a recovery drive. So when I bought the Encore Mini, I bought a bunch of these little USB drives, and I don't remember how much they were. These are 32 gig. That thing only needed like 4 gig to do the recovery drive, so an 8 gig USB stick would do it. It's built into Windows. You make the recovery drive, so I've got a video that walks through how to make that drive and then how to boot from it, which is kind of the important part. Kind of like it's not really important to have backups. It's really important to be able to restore from the backups. So I walk through that, show you how you can test that and delete that. Because you kind of got the thing, how do you boot from something else? There's no way to connect anything. So I show you how to do that. And I'll probably release that sometime this week. Haven't got that thing edited out yet. But loving the little device. I got these tablets all over. And they're so great. I have a lot of fun with them. So have yourself a ball. Go out to store.microsoft.com. Get you one of those and let me know what you think about it. So I talked about, I should have probably moved this one up. I talked about how Microsoft giveth when they're giving us the unlimited OneDrive, and how Microsoft taketh away by taking away the Xbox free streaming, Xbox Music free streaming. They're taking something else away, I think. I don't know. Up until, I guess even today, I've been telling people to install the Office web apps with SharePoint 2013. That's the in-browser versions of Word and Excel and PowerPoint and OneNote and all that. And it gives you for free, you would get the read capability. So you would be able to read Word documents, but you wouldn't be able to create new ones, edit them, that kind of stuff. That was for free, and you could just go out to Microsoft and download the Office web apps. Starting, and I should have had this better in my notes, starting soon, they're going to remove that. So as of the 24th of November, they're going to remove the Office Web Apps server download from the Microsoft Download Center. And starting on the 24th of November 2014, you'll have to have a volume license to download the Office Web Apps. So you'll have to have a volume license agreement. Go to the volume license agreement website, and you'll find it there, which is kind of how the Office Web Apps for 2010 were. What we haven't seen yet is what that means for licensing. I assume that everybody that's using the Office Web Apps for free now will continue to be able to use them for free. I don't think they will no longer be licensed for that. I don't know how that's going to work. But mostly I think they're probably going to use this to roll out some other feature, some other way of doing this. And I don't know if it's going to be Office Web Apps as a service sort of thing. I don't know how that's going to happen. But if you have SharePoint 2013 on-prem and you have not downloaded the Office Web Apps for free yet, you have just a little under 30 days to go out to the Microsoft Download Center and download the Office Web Apps. And I will put a link to that download in my show notes and in the blog post for this. But I'm not sure what the play is there, but like I said, I'm glad I got the download. I think I'll put it in OneDrive, save it there. And when you, so now a blatant promotion for my own stuff, when you do install the Office Web Apps, they get patched all the time anyway. Or also, they get patched along with SharePoint. So if you go to toddklindt.com/SP2013 builds, at the bottom of that page are all the Office Web Apps server patches. So make sure you put those on too. They are important. Okay, another tangential piece of software, not SharePoint itself, but something that works well with SharePoint, is SQL. Well, usually works well with SharePoint. And this weekend I stumbled across a great blog series from August called 31 Days of SQL Server Management Studio. And this is 31 tips. It's at sqljudo.wordpress.com. 31 tips for SQL Server Management Studio. For those of us that are SharePoint administrators or whatever, we're going to end up spending some time in SQL. And these tips are some really great tips for kind of getting a handle on SQL Server Management Studio. There's a whole bunch, obviously 31. Some of my favorites are ones we've talked about before. Color coding your different servers so it's obvious when you're on production as opposed to test or dev or whatever. Creating groups of servers. So if you have multiple SQL servers for environments, you can group those together. Importing and exporting those groups. Ways to save templates and snippets of query code and hotkeys that you can assign to stuff. Man, there is a bunch of crazy stuff in there. And again, 31 days, so it was the whole month of August that he did this. Great tips. Kind of walk through the list. I didn't see a way to go from day to day, so you'd have to hit day one and then back, and day two and day back. But I wish there was a way to just kind of cycle all the way through them, because not all of them were anything that I cared about, but some of them were really good, and it would have been great to just be able to thumb through them. So keep that out there. Again, if you find yourself in SQL Server a lot, that's some great stuff. A similar thing that I stumbled across this weekend was a thing called ISE Steroids, and this was for the PowerShell ISE, or Integrated Scripting Environment, and this was some add-ins that a guy built that add functionality to the PowerShell ISE. Now, this is the old PowerShell ISE, because I'm using the PowerShell 5 ISE everywhere now, but this is for the old stuff. I haven't tried it with the 5 yet. But it adds things like refactoring, whatever that is. That's some crazy developer thing. A bunch of shortcut keys for things. It's really good stuff. So if you find yourself using the PowerShell ISE a lot, take a look at this. And one of the great things that this guy did on his blog post on the ISE steroids, and that's at cantoruscomputing.wordpress.com, is lots of screenshots. So he's like, well, we added this thing that shows how to do this thing, and then there's a picture of it. And man, I got a million web pages every day to read. Everybody's uploading cat videos. I got to keep up with that. So it's great having pictures because I can scroll through and go, oh yeah, I've always wanted to do that. But a really great blog post showing all the stuff that's there. And I think, I'll probably try this on the PowerShell 5 ISE maybe tomorrow and see how much of this stuff comes over. But if you find yourself in PowerShell a lot, and you should, because PowerShell is super cool, give this thing a try and see how that helps your productivity inside of PowerShell. Okay, we're coming up on a half an hour, and I'm going to try to keep you guys to a half an hour tonight. The last thing that I wanted to talk about, a little less technical, a little more personal, but valuable and worthy just the same. So one of the things way back, and I'm kind of stealing some of the content from this page here, when I started this Netcast 5 years ago, so March of 2009, things were a little different, at least here in the United States, and I think probably most of the Western world. Without getting too political and all that, it was the beginning or the deepest part of the Great Recession, and people were losing jobs, and it was just a really scary, crazy time everywhere. And I found myself in a pretty good spot, I guess. I watched the news. I knew what was going on, but I was doing the SharePoint thing, and my career was taking off. Again, I started at SharePoint 911 5 years ago, so there's all those kind of things going on. And I found myself incredibly fortunate in a time where a lot of people were really hurting. And I guess one of the things that I did to kind of help myself sleep a little better at night, help my guilty conscience, is I started talking to you folks about charity, and I started giving more to charity because there just seemed to be that much more need for it, and I was in a position where I could do it. So for that first birthday in 2010, I kind of had a charity drive, and I can't remember how it all worked out, but at one point I did a thing where I'd offered to donate $1 to a local charity for every download the Netcast got. We're kind of past the point where I can afford to do that now, getting a lot more downloads, and I got more kids to put through college. So I can't really do that anymore, but it was something that I did for a couple of years. And then Lori Gowan and Dan Usher kind of took the ball and started doing it for me. So a few months leading up to my birthday, they would kind of do this secret squirrel thing where they would collect donations, not on my behalf, but donations and all that, and then have people give it to local charities. And that has really taken off. Last year, their half of it was $1,600 that they raised for different charities. I matched that. My wife and I had to have a talk about about my mouth and me offering to match charitable contributions. But things have gotten better, I think, as a whole in the world, hopefully. But it's still something that I feel very strongly about. I still do a bunch of things with that. But Lori wanted to get a jump on that this year, and she wanted to make sure that we did even better this year, that we got more than $1,600. And so she has set up a website, and you can go to pointgowan.com. So that's Point and her last name, GOWIN.com/TK Charity. And she's got a whole big thing there talking about basically all the stuff that I just said. I stole all of her content. And then giving you a way to sign up for a mailing list if you wanted to be a part of this and keep track of the donations and all that. Now, let me be very clear about this. This is not for any charity that I'm not pitching for a charity. I don't care what charity you give to. I've got charities that I give to. I got a couple of local ones that I give to. That's not my goal. I don't care what you give to whatever you want to give to. Everybody's got specific things that mean things to them, and that's great. I'm all for that. So all Lori is going to keep track of is if you give to any charity within the time frames that she's got set up, that counts. So if you've got your local moose wrestling league, if they need charitable contributions, you give them $37, that counts. So you don't have to give to the charities that I've got listed there. If you'd like to, that's great, but they're local to my town, so they're going to benefit the people around me. But by all means, do something in your community that is 100% awesome. I'm just trying to get people more aware of it, because we all know about charity and we've all done it and all that, but we just don't ever think about it. It's just not one of those things that really comes up. So this is my way of reminding people. Now, we all just came off the big ALS thing, so we're probably all sick of it, but wanted to bring this up, and so go on out there to pointgowan.com/TK charity. Check out the work that Lori's done. She's done a great bit of work. But the goal this year is we're going to try to donate more than we did last year. Again, I got to talk to the wife about that. I might end up sleeping outside underneath the bushes. But you're going to be hearing about that a little bit more. I apologize in advance if it's annoying. I don't mean to annoy you, but I do want to make sure that everybody hears about that, so we can get as good a turnout as we can. And again, doesn't matter to me what charity you give to, just help somebody out. That's all I want to do. Just help some folks out. Just give a little back. I've had it good so far. I'm trying to grease karma's wheels a little bit and keep getting some good stuff. So, and big thanks goes out to Lori and Dan for all this. Lori's been pestering me for at least a month to try to get some verbiage up there and kind of get a solid vision for that, and I've been hesitating and all that. But she's driving on. She's done way more for this than I have. But I appreciate all that. So again, apologize if it's kind of gotten tedious and all that, but thanks for hearing me out. Now it is time for the favorite part, the best part, the shameless self-promotion. So the first thing that we need to talk about is next week, November 3rd, I will not be here. I will be in Seattle at the MVP Summit, hanging out with the MVPs. Might see my man Jared while I'm out there. He's in the chat room, Jared Shockley, right here. Going to be hanging out with those guys, seeing what's going on, hearing about all kinds of great stuff that I can't tell you about. It's all under NDA, non-disclosure agreement, all that. But just suffice it to say, I'm going to have a great time doing secret things, but I will not be here. So next week, I apologize. You're going to have to put up with Shane. He's going to be doing it next week, and he'll be doing the Google Hangouts thing, so it's going to be the same thing that you're used to, the same song and dance that you've been doing the last few weeks. He's going to do it on YouTube and all that, and he'll be doing I have no idea what he's going to talk about. Haven't got that with him. Haven't got with him about that yet, but next week will be Shane. But then the week after that, November 10th, I will be doing the European Netcast. So 2 weeks from today, I will be doing this Netcast at a different time, because right now it is super early in the morning in Europe. So it's like 2:15 in the morning UTC, and then the farther east you go, all that. And I've had a few European folks talk to me about this. They wanted to get in. They want to get in the chat room. They want to harass me live as opposed to just screaming at the radio when they listen to me recorded. So I'm going to throw those folks a bone, and we'll do that. So I don't know what time for sure works best for everybody. Tentatively, right now, I'm planning for just 12 hours earlier. So I'm planning for 8:30 Central Time Monday morning as opposed to Monday afternoon. But I've got a blog post out there that I should have linked that I forgot to. If you are in Europe, for sure, but even if you're not in Europe, and you've got a time that you would like me to try to do the Netcast at, shoot me a link in there. Put a comment in that blog post or something, and send me a tweet at Todd Klindt, something like that, and let me know, because I'm open to suggestions for when we should do that. But tentatively, Monday, November 10th, it will be 8:30 Central Time in the morning. So Lori, link the blog post in the chat room. I appreciate that. Thank you. And we will do that a bit. And if we get enough big enough turnout, maybe I'll do it a couple times a year. Doesn't matter to me. It's just less time I got to work. It gives me my Monday evening back. Be able to watch Monday Night Football on the 10th. It'll be pretty fun. I will like that. So then we got the end of the year and all that kind of stuff. In February 8th through the 11th, I'm going to be at SP TechCon in Austin, Texas. New venue for that, Austin. Normally it's in San Francisco and Boston. Now it's in Austin and Boston. I don't know if they specifically went for cities that rhymed, but that was well done if they did. But that is February 8th through the 11th in Austin. You can go to sptechcon.com and sign up for that, register. I don't know what sessions I'm doing yet. I sent Dave Rubenstein, he's the head guy there. I sent him a whole list of sessions. We'll see how many he lets me do. but that is February 8th through the 11th. So I haven't checked lately. Lori tells me I'm doing 4 sessions. Sweet. Good on me. I hope they're easy ones. But I won't tell you what they are. I'll wait, and Shane can tell you next week. I'm building anticipation. I need you to tune in for 221, so I will tell you next week. And then in April, couldn't be more excited about this. Steve Smith, great guy. Met Steve like 10 years ago at Tech Ed in Boston and been friends with him ever since. And he puts on what has been described with more hyperbole than any conference I've ever gone to or been a part of, the SharePoint Evolutions Conference. I just hear about how that's the greatest thing ever, and I've been asked to be a part of it. Yay! So next April 20th through the 22nd of 2015, I will be at SharePoint Evolutions in London, England. London, England, get out of here. I'm going to be there, and it's the bestest conference ever from what I hear, so I'm pretty excited about that. I also have no idea what I'm speaking about there, but Steve has assured me that I'm there. I'm actually on the speaker page, so I can't, I don't know. Anyway, so if you're going to be in Europe next April, 20th, 22nd, going to be in London, swing by. It'll be great. I can't wait to be there. Again, thanks to Steve and all the folks there at Combined Knowledge for bringing me on board for that. I do appreciate that. And that is it for this evening, folks. Went a little over, not too bad, coming in 40 minutes or so. Again, the Hangouts seem to be working. I appreciate that. Got some feedback on that. It's been helpful. As always, looking for feedback for anything video, audio, content, whatever. I'd love to hear from you. At Todd Klindt on Twitter, todd.klindt at rackspace.com. And we'll see what we can do. Thank you, everybody. Thank you listening live. Thank you for you folks that downloaded me and are listening to me on your commute and all that. Couldn't do it without you. I appreciate it. Thanks. Have a good day.